Limit. Today, we will discuss how to use code snippets and content blocks into the landing pages. So, here in the post, I'll click on second link and let's start. So, in my previous video, I described how we create a landing page and how we were able to add the subscriber details into the data extension. So, this was my form that I created in the first part of the series. And here, this was the name of the landing page, collect consents, and we moved further. Yeah, now what we are going to do is we are going to leverage the content block, okay, and then we'll see how we can use this content block into our previously created cloud page. So from the content builder, we go to the content builder. Okay, you create a folder structure. I always suggest to prepare a good folder structure. And when you go to the content builder, you can click on create. Okay? Then you click on the content blocks and select HTML. So we are selecting HTML content blocks. And what we do is when we save the content block, we give the name of the content block as collect consent and give a very special attention to this customer key field, and I'm going to use the consent block as the customer key for this content block. Okay, and what we are going to do, as in our previous video, we are going to copy this form. Okay. We're going to add this form, okay, HTML forms into that content group. And then we're going to save this form, right? So let's go a step back and see what actually happens is whenever you create the landing page, when you first just create the landing page, right? And you open the landing page, this is the content that Marketing Cloud itself creates. Okay? You have the HTML tag, you have the head tag, okay? You have the rebuild style for your landing page, and this is the body, right? So they give you the default setup for all this content. What actually we did last time was we created this form, okay? We embedded this form here. So I simply delete all this and I paste it here. So our landing page was similar to this in our first part of the series. Now let's move ahead, okay? And what we did just now was we created the content block, right? Now this particular form, this part of this form, okay, this part of this form, we embed it into our cloud page. Now here we didn't embed it into cloud page. What we did was we created a content block, and we added this form tag into this content block. Okay, and we saved this content block with the customer key as consent block. Now, as we have moved this code, okay, this form tag from this page, this form tag from this page, okay, with this content block, right? So now our cloud page will look like this. So inside the body, we don't have anything. So what we'll do next is we added this form controls, and in the third part, what I'm going to do is and use the content of the key function, okay, and I'll add it here, right? So basically what we're doing is whenever we are loading the page, we are calling the content block, which is consent form. Okay? So let me see here. I think here there's a mistake. Here we said consent block. Okay? And what I see here is the consent form. So this is a mistake here. So it has to be corrected. So if this is a consent block, so it has to be consent block. So we modify this. I will update the block also. This will be consent block. So this will be a consent block. So here, when I said add this to the landing page and publish the page, okay, here I added this line. Okay, now you can publish it and see if the page is rendering properly or not. Next, let's move to the next step. So yeah, as described in our previous uh, video, we had created a data extension, right, to collect all those values that were supplied by the subscriber, like email address, full name, address to city, zip, email consent, entry date. By default, it should be the current date. What I would also request you to add updated date or say modified date into this attribute, right? And also the MID. Basically, this will represent you the business unit who have submitted it. So you can leverage this content, right, into all the business units. Like say, let's say I created this content block. Okay? I can save this content block. I put it into a save folder, right? And I can leverage this content block in any of the cloud pages for any business unit. Right? And to leverage this, you simply need to add this content block to the specific business unit cloud page, and it's going to work. So this content block will be a reusable component, and you can use it anywhere in the marketing cloud instance for any business unit. Okay, so let's go down. Yeah, so the step 5 of this series, of this part of the series is we had created this uh, code snippet and had added into the cloud base. So if I copy this, okay, and had asked you to add this code snippet, okay, into the head tag of the HTML. So here, initially we would add it here. Okay. And let's go back, let's say, previous page. We could have added, this was actually our full code source that we had built during our part 1 of this series. Okay. So inside the head tag, we had this code snippet, and inside the body, we had this form tag. Now, in this series of adding the content block on the code snippet, what we did was, instead of adding this form here, right, what we did was this and call this content block and add it here, and this would be we'll be modifying this consent block. Okay, and here for this, what I'm suggesting here, step 5 is you have to create a code snippet. So similarly, when we go to this content builder, right, and when we go to the content block, okay, and from the content block, you scroll it down and create a consent block. Okay, code snippet consent block. Yeah, let me see what was the name that I created for the here also we have added a consent block. Okay, so since we have, okay, now I understood what I did. This was not a mistake. Okay, yeah, when I was creating this consent block, content block, okay, for the consent, this was basically I was creating a form. Okay, so maybe later I modified this with this consent form. So this screenshot here, this will be consent form. Okay, I hope I'll modify this and modify this screenshot and update my block here. So this is not this is not incorrect. This is correct. So this will be basically consent form. Okay. So here is a consent form because we created a form. That's why this name was of form. Now, uh, when we created this, right? So we added this here. So what we did was we created a consent, code snippet, and inside the code snippet, we pasted this code. Right? So this code, which is basically we already have it here in our landing page. I'm going to cut it down from here. Okay, cut it down. And yeah, so this is my code snippet. Okay. And I have saved this code snippet as the consent block. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this line consent block by key consent block and in my landing page here in the head. Okay, I'm going to paste it here. So on the page load, I'm calling two content blocks. One to the code snippet. Okay, this one is the code snippet. Okay. And this one is the content block using HTML content. So yeah. Okay. So this is the form. That's why we consider this as a consent form. And this is the code snippet that will basically update the subscriber details into the data extension. Okay. And this is the code snippet. So better understanding, it's a very code snippet content. Right. So this is how our page will look like, our landing page. Okay. So what we do is after adding these content blocks, we need to publish this page, first save the page and publish the page, then just simply run the page, add the details, okay, click on submit, and yeah, we are still haven't completed this part of the section where how we are displaying this submitted successfully into the landing page. We'll cover this in maybe in our another part of the series. Okay. Now, before I think this is a quick one. So before concluding this section, the very important aspect of this course snippet is both the course snippet. Right? I can add it to the saved items of the content. Okay, and I can leverage this content blocks in all the business units. So this will be a reusable component, and the development effort for this creating this cloud page would be minimized. Okay, so every deployment that you do.